Hello everyone, my name's Ian. Welcome back to my YouTube channel in brief book and film reviews. Just wanted to come online today quickly and give a book review to this very good book. Now I have to say it was really good book. This book is called Cocaine Cowboys, The Deadly Rise of Ireland's Drug Lords. This book was written and released by Nicola Tallant, and it was released in 2023 under Eriu publishers. The pages is 232 and there's 11 chapters before the acknowledgements and the preface. Yeah, really good book. Very well written by Nicola. I'm not a big fan of Irish crime correspondents. I think they pay way too much attention on drug dealers within Ireland, and they don't concentrate on white-collared criminals, even some politicians that are breaking a lot of laws and stuff like that. So I'm not a big fan of these writers and stuff. However, I do feel that Nicola did a lot of good research to this book, and I'll talk about as I progress in the review on that. Really interesting book, and definitely one that I would recommend, hence the reason why I'm coming on today and giving a review to it. So the book starts off basically talks about the genesis of the cocaine in Colombia and Mexico and all these places, Bolivia, Peru, where the manufacturer of it, the packaging of it, and then a shipment to mainland Europe. It all talks about the history, certain cartel members and stuff, Pablo Escobar, etc. Then it goes on to talk about how the certain British and Irish criminals started to put up a port and shops and open up shop restaurants as a blag or a pretense to with the illegal activities of selling drugs, mainly based down in Cork, Kerry, about Kinsale and places like that, south of Ireland, ports and that, where they could get their drugs brought in from places like Africa and Spain, etc. So then it goes on to talk about the laundering of money and certain schemes that the cartels within Europe were trying to get in on with Irish and British horse racing and stuff. It then goes very deep actually into a lady called Anne Bullitt, who was the daughter of a very wealthy businessman and who loved horses, and she was American, and she then resided in Ireland and stayed in Ireland for a long time. It then goes on, I think she went back to Nicola Tallant within writing this book, and that went back in history and really kind of molded everything up together. And I was really starting to enjoy the story when she was coming through, particularly in the later pages. Mid-book, it was really interesting, I have to say, and that talks about Anne Bullitt and her managing of affairs, estate as she got older, Palmerstown House and places like this and that, where there's a lot of horse racing that goes on. It then talks about Jim Mansfield, the late Jim Mansfield Senior, Katie French, beautiful model from Ireland. And it talks about how she got, the party of the Celtic Tiger and how it all came crashing down and stuff like that. And, her untimely death, I think she was like 24 when she died, and she was absolutely gorgeous. It was such a tragic incident in Irish life, and that, as a socialite, her. And it was really sad selling the story. A lot of stuff I didn't actually know about Katie French and stuff, and it was very good, to get the information and that, and it was really interesting also as well to learn about all the ins and outs and the people that she'd bang with, and it is really interesting in that, because you see the length and the depths that the drug dealing, the employers, the drug dealers they go to and that they get into, and the people who they try to mix with, etc., etc. The deaths of various underworld gangsters that then goes into Eamon Kelly, Robbie Law, people like that, Connie Liz Price, and then kind of goes in to the Hutchison and the Kinahan feud. Really, really interesting reading that, I have to say. Then goes into the Krypton. Then goes into the international Kinahan International Organised Crime Unit, and the Krypton. Their activities in Britain and Ireland and across Spain and what have you, and that, and talks about how the guards cracked down on the people, the murderers who, the hitman who took down and was part of the big 22-man killing spree between the Hutch and the Kinahans and stuff, and that. The Crypt and the Codes goes in, talks about the Penguin, George Mitchell and that, and really, really, really good now. Like, I have to say, really interesting. That probably one of the most knowledgeable, and going into in depth about how all these drug dealers go, the lengths that they go to keep their revenues up, to keep making the money, and you say to yourself, like, you get a couple of million and just leave at that, just retire, just get out of town, get 2 or 3, 4 million or whatever, and just live a comfortable life, like put 2 or 3 grand, 2 or 3 million in the bank, and then live off the, and then have 100 million, spent 50, 60 grand a year, just live a comfortable life, and then live off the interest of 3 or 4 million, whatever. But they can't do that, and it's crazy when you think about it, and that, maybe some are in so deep that obviously it talks about the CAB, Criminal Assets Bureau in Ireland, and that, they come down on them. So maybe some of them feel that they can't do that. They'll eventually get caught up and what have you and whatnot. So they're kind of in it for life, It talks about the case in Ireland with the young bucks and that, from Coolock, Finglas and that, Kieran Bolali Woods, I think it is, who unfortunately was hacked to death, and butchered, and it talks about all these young lads as well. I think it's Little, I can't remember, he's Sean Little or something, the first name. Little, and that it talks about other young lads, kids like 21, 20. I think Kieran Mulroney Woods was like 16 or 17 or something, and the way he died was just despicable when you think about that young and stuff and that. But it just goes to show us that the young cocaine guys who get involved in that, they're so young, but the money is there. They become reckless. They don't know. They see the glamour of their life. They enjoy the trips over to Ibiza, the trips over here, there, and everywhere. It's nothing to them, and that the fast cash, fast cars, for easy women, all that type of stuff, and they don't really care about anything. It goes in one ear and out the next and that. But it's really sad how a lot of them end up dying and stuff in such an early age. And it talks about the mothers as well, the family members that they leave behind, and what they go through and stuff and that. And it talks about at the end the comeback kings, drug dealers and people who have been in prison and stuff, like John Gilligan and I think it's Brian Rattigan and that, who would be out of prison now. It talks about all that type of stuff, and all these guys, and kind of like how they want to come back into the game, and they don't want to turn over a new leaf and just forget about the past. They just want to keep on moving in, and they don't see any end to it. Like, it's just like the cash is there. It's the only way they know a living and what have you. And really, really interesting book. Like the level of history that went into it was the thing that impressed me the most, especially when it talked about Bullet, Jim Mansfield, Kate French, and that, it went into a lot of history there, and it was really, really interesting. I have to say, I really enjoyed this book, and that's it from me this week. And I just would recommend that book to anyone who wants to read a half decent book. And that's it. I wish everyone the best. many blessings and happiness, and I shall be back again next week with another book review. That's under 10 minutes. Adios amigos, longa foil, being Gairagat.